Hey guys, welcome to the final section, the wrap up and conclusion. Um, this has been a really interesting little project. There have been some ups and downs and some couple of had to take a couple pauses here to debug some weird issues that I was getting. In some cases, it was user error. In other cases, it was something with Visual Studio, and just a very interesting little project we did here in just a couple of hours. So let's wrap it up and let's talk about it. So we can come over here and look at our. Oh, don't mind all this crap. We can come over here. Let's see if I can find my. Let's see if I can find my. Let's see if I can find the repository here. Let's take a look. Here it is. It's called Netcore Calendar. So you can see I just versioned 3 minutes ago, and that was the last section we did, the section 5. We had to kind of retroactively go back and fix some of our issues with our controllers, and I think it was a pretty good learning experience because sometimes you make mistakes, but I don't necessarily think it's worth going back and redoing the whole thing if you can just fix a couple of items. So this is what the code looks like if you guys want to download it. We managed to do it in 7 commits, which is pretty basic, honestly. I mean, it's not that much. It's only a couple hours of work, honestly. So let's talk extension of functionality. What are some ways we can extend this app? Well, one of the ways we can extend it is with added security features, something I was talking about before. So one of the issues I was discussing is the security feature here is if we have an edit here for an event, let's say I want to edit an event. Well, what do you think is going to happen if I decide I want to edit your event rather than mine? Within this current build, I can do that. There's nothing preventing me from it. I can just start guessing IDs of events and I can just start making changes to them. And it's like, well, what the hell is that? Doesn't make any sense, right? So what we can do is we can do something like if event.userid thing, guys. You don't generally want to do that with a you don't generally want to do that with the you don't generally want to do that in such a way. So the reason why is because you should add an action filter attribute, which is kind of like what this authorize is, but it's customized. Right? So we can add a user manager to it. We can add a DB context to it. There's a couple things we could add to it, depending on what all we want to use. And I'm lagging here for some reason, so I'm going to shut off this PowerPoint for a bit. Just go off my notes. Something's making the webcam lag a little bit. It's Teams, maybe it's I don't know. It's some crap. But you know, the question becomes, how can we create one of these custom to improve security? Well, we can go into controllers and let's right click and click add. Let's go new folder. And we're going to do action filter attribute. And let's go add new item. And we're going to call this user access only. Meaning it has to be accessed by the user that is using it. So we're going to have this inherit from action filter attribute and action filter as such, right? Oh no, sorry, I think that's the wrong namespace. Excuse me one moment while I look up the correct namespace and the correct inheritance here. Let's see. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and delete this. And let's go ahead and rename this. Rename this. We'll just call it action filters. Because the problem is there's an ambiguation in there. User access only. Such. Let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, boom, there it is. We got it. All right. Yeah, there was some ambiguity between my namespace and between stuff.net's namespace. So, go ahead and create our DB context. Or should we create a data access layer? Right? Because we kind of already established that there are correct and incorrect ways to access the data. Kind of leaning towards the data access layer. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because what we need to do here, let me explain what we're doing. We're trying to grab the user ID of the currently logged in user. We're trying to match that against the what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say, guys? Against the ID of the currently the current event that we're editing, because you should be able to edit other people's events. So how do we do that? Well, I have to look some stuff up in the documentation. Give me a moment. But there are a couple different approaches. Now we could dependency inject, like such. Then we can dependency inject our user. Well, let's just grab this whole dependency injection sequence here. And then user access only as such. And then we'll do the IDOL. And we'll do the user manager such, and the models such. Okay, that looks great, guys. That looks really good. So we can dependency inject our user manager and our DOL. Because we need the user manager because we need the user ID. And the reason why is because we need to get sorry, we need to get the we need to current what am I trying to say here? We need the currently logged in user is what we need. We need the currently logged in user, and we need to compare that to the currently logged in, the currently being edited evaluation. So we need to be able to make a nice comparison between those two. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm just looking some stuff up on the documentation here. Let's see. Here we go. This is what I need. This is, yeah. So this is how I did it in a previous project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create this public override void on action executing. And that accepts the action executing context. Now, so what this method is this happens before we get into our controller. Then we also have on action executed, which happens after the controller action is executed. What we're going to do is we're going to check, see if the context contains the ID. Then we're going to parse it as such. So we're going to do int ID equals int.parse. You have to typecast it to a string. Go context.route data.values. This is accessed as a dictionary ID. Now that's a really long, complicated way of saying we're going to get the ID. What that is, that's this thing right here. Right. Then we're going to access the user. Right? Because typically there is a user in the action executing context as well. So we have to go like this. If context.http context.user does not equal null, this is just a null check to make sure that the user is present, then we can go username equals context.http context.user.identity.name. Clear that. Bar u. As such. And then no, we have to use it similar to how we did it here. Claims. Yeah, let's forget about this. Our user ID equals, we just have to add claims. Huh. I thought when we dependency injected, it would automatically find that. Apparently not so much. Let's see if we can find something in here. Find by ID async. Find by name async. How about that? String username. So let's go back with that original ID we had. Username equals context.http context.user.identity.name. Then we go if username is not equal null, because this will break if you don't do constant null checks, because you don't know what's going to be there. Well, actually, we might not need to do this. We just have the username. We have lazy loading enabled. No. We just have the username and we have lazy loading enabled. We should be able to figure it out. Anyways, let's go. So we have the username. Let's go var event equals underscore Donald.get event ID. Sorry. Yeah, you're not allowed to use event in C#. That's a disallowed word. Okay, so get event. That should bring us up the event. Now we go if my event dot user dot name username does not equal the username, return bad. We need to find a way to new bad. All right, so return bad request. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Context dot result equals new bad. Not found. New. Let me look it up in the documentation real quick and I'll get back to you guys. Context result 404. There we go. That's what we need. New HTTP status code result 404. See if we can work with that. Thanks. Should we install the package? What do you guys think? Install the package. Let's fully qualify these names because then we have ambiguity. I believe these should be MVC.filters. No, that's not working either. Why don't we try something a little bit different? Oops, sorry about that. Yep, should be .NET Core MVC. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a page not found. And we're going to go into the home controller and edit. And it's just going to be a custom not found. So we'll make it public. And we can remove this as well. And then we'll go ahead and add a view. Home and view. We'll set the layout like such. And we'll go page not found. As such. All right, let's try that out and see if that works. Again, this is just showing you guys giving you guys some ideas of how you can add security improvements to your existing code. Because, I mean, theoretically, we would never want a person to edit another person's events if this were an actual production app, because that wouldn't make any sense. I mean, why should I be able to edit your events? It's your schedule. Be able to keep it how you want it. There's also a lot of other sophisticated things we could do too. But if we go ahead and log in here and test it out, let's see what the result is. Let's go ahead and log in. Let's go here. As such. As such. Now let's go events. Let's go edit. Now, you're looking right here at this part of your screen. Let's change it to something that we know is not ours. It would be 2. You can see it's not working. So, find out why. I'm going to hit refresh over here. Oh, well, because we didn't actually add it. We didn't add it to the... My bad on that one, guys. My bad. So we have to actually add it in order for it to actually work. Fun fact about coding, it actually, if you write code, you have to actually add your code into the place where it's being used. Amazing how that works. It doesn't just read my mind and do what I want. Ooh. So what it's asking for is it's asking that we add these. See, now this is the reason why I typically just use private static within this context. See if we're not actually using the user manager at all. Yeah, we're not using the user manager at all. So we'll go ahead and remove that. Move it. Now we just need to find a way to pass in the data access layer. Okay, that looks good. And it's saying an object reference is required for the non-static field method or property, del. All right, we're not going to dependency inject then because it's getting to be too much of a pain in the ass. So rather than dependency injecting, I'm not sure how to pass this in within the context of an action filter attribute. We're just going to go ahead and make it private. So there you have it. So much for dependency injection with this time around. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way with a private class. So go ahead and start this thing up. And again, I would fix that, but I don't want to waste your guys' time too long with this stuff. You know, I want you guys to be focused on improving and adding stuff. You know, and just getting to a place where your apps look good and you're understanding the concept rather than worrying about fixing every little thing. You can worry about fixing every little thing when you have a job. You know what I mean? Or when you have a client. But when you're learning, it's good to just kind of go through one thing after another. So let's go ahead and try and access that. Let's see what it does. So we're stepping into the code now. Did it grab the ID? Yep, it grabbed the ID too. User is not null. User is us. My event dal get event ID 2. Successfully loaded the event. Ooh. Ooh. Look at this. Look at this, folks. You guys see what's happening here? Got to do null check here. But it's working as intended. We just need another null check. This is just null check after null check after null check. Because if you remember in the previous lesson, we didn't add the user yet. So we fixed that, and then now it's not finding the user, so it's giving this error when it does. We pass in a different one, it won't give us that error. But we'll do null check. User does not equal null. So let's go ahead and run it like that. Run it like that. We're almost done here, guys. If you stayed in through this whole video, I'm very impressed. If you built alongside me, if you made your own creation, if you have added to it or extended to it, that's very impressive. You know, because this is kind of a complex little project here, isn't it? So, if you can follow along with a project like this, you can probably just build your own software, your own service, software, your own company, build your own whatever. So here we go. Let's just do new event, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. Let's make it both on the 27th. Location, work, create. That looks good. Now let's try to edit. Let's try to edit the other one. Let's try to edit 2. Nothing should happen here, I believe. Because this one doesn't have a user, so that one won't get locked out because it's some old data. But if we go to this one, it should allow us to edit. It should still allow us to edit. But if it were for a new user, it would redirect us to that page not found. So, good stuff. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's discuss a couple more things. What are some other ways we can improve? Well, with the My Calendar, they have tooltips. What those are, they're these little things that pop up when you mouse over. They look kind of cool. So we can extend this functionality by adding the tooltips. And the tooltips look really cool, you guys. They look very interesting. I'm going to show you how to add them real quick. So let me pause the video and bring up my documentation here. And then we'll finish up. All right, guys, welcome back to the calendar app project. One last feature we're going to add in here just to extend. We're talking about extending stuff and adding on additional layers of cool stuff to our app. Since we have this view my calendar page set up here, go ahead and log in, get stuff ready to go here. We see here we got a couple of cool events in here, a couple of little things that we built from the previous episode. What the popper is when you mouse over, it's going to display a little tooltip. We have to add 2 JavaScript libraries, and then we have to use the event did mount. What do you call it? The event did mount callback, right? And then we can add a bunch of stuff to the event did mount, which is a callback for the basically for when you're mousing over it. So first things first, we're going to add 2 packages to our script here. So let's go in. Let's cut this down. Let's go into our layout. Wherever that is. Oh. Should be here under shared. Go in here. We click layout. All right. Right here under all this, or no, we're going to put this up top because it should be by where the .NET Core calendar stuff is. Let's see. It's working, so let's not mess with it. So we're going to put these 2 scripts here. And again, you can check the GitHub repo for these. This is popper.min.js and tooltip.min.js. I just copy and pasted those from the documentation for full calendar. There's a link in the description box below. These are 2 things that are needed to use the event did mount component and display something for full calendar. So, just a little something to work on here. So, yep. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take the description field. If you guys remember when we created our models, there was name and description. We're going to have it so that when you mouse over, you see the description. And we can kind of extend that out. And I'm going to check my models here real quick and make sure that I am using the correct term when I say description. Let me see. Let me check my models. No, it's not under here. Sorry, it should be under should be in the JSON list helper. Yep, this is the model I'm talking about. I'm talking about the full calendar models, not the any framework models. So you can see here there is something called description that pulls from model.description. We're going to be grabbing that in full calendar and displaying it to the user. So now that we've added that script, we want to go ahead and add the event did mount component. So follow along with me. We're going to write it out. So let's go into our My Calendar. And let's go right here and hit enter. We're going to do event did mount function info var tooltip equals new tool tip info.l like so. And then we're going to add these different properties here. So the title is info.event.extended props.description, comma, placement is top, trigger is hover. Oh, sorry, these should be in quotes. Single or double, whatever you prefer. Hover and container there is body as such. All right, cool. That looks really great. So what we're going to do is we're going to test that out and see if that works. So what that code should be doing is that when we mouse over one of our events in our calendar, it should be giving us a view of the description in a nice little hover box that pops over and says, check out the description. We can also customize the description too if we want. So let's click view my calendar. Let's go ahead and log in. Now let's, oh no, everything broke. So obviously we broke something. Why don't we inspect and go ahead and view page source. Check the console. Yeah. Oh, tool top. Oh, where did I say tool top? Did I say tool top? I meant tool tip. No. Oh no, it should be tool tip. Yeah, it's definitely tool top though. So let's go ahead and fix that. Sorry about that. That should fix everything. That should fix it should fix the whole thing, but you know, we never really know stuff. Okay, let's see what we got. I don't know. Does not appear to be working. What are we missing? Could be a nice little thing popping up there. You know, maybe that's a premium feature? I'm wondering. Or if that's a premium feature. The documentation is correct. I'll tell you what. Why don't we add a little bit of style? See if that proves it for the popper and the tooltip. See if maybe it's coming in, maybe it's like just not visible because it's not properly styled. So I added some style there. Nope, it is not showing up. It is not. Well, anyways, you guys can figure that stuff out. That's just one idea of a way you can extend it. I'm gonna try and play around with this a little more, but I think that just about wraps up this lesson. If you guys have time to play around with it, or if you figure out why the tooltip is not working, feel free to add it in the comments or shoot me an email. I've gotten it to work on other projects before, but this project has run really, really long, so I'm probably gonna cut it off here and just, you guys can figure it out, have fun, and let me know what you found out. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for being in this part of this fun little project. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.